welcome to Adventure Hook. Welcome back to Adventure Hook, Dark Sun, Fire, and Sand. As usual, I am your DM, the Wanderer, Aaron Campbell. And with us, as always, starting from the top and heading down.
My name's Joe Annabi, and I'll be playing Geza Akos, the bird person.
Am I next?
Yeah.
It's all different order from me over here.
Yeah, you normally start. If you look at the feed, you're normally numero uno.
Hi, I'm Marc Andreyko. I'm a dwarf, not in real life.
Am I doing
He's as curmudgeonly as a dwarf.
Yeah. Am I doing my COVID voice for Craucus?
I mean, if you wanna.
Okay.
It was a good voice.
All right.
Yeah, it actually was.
Okay. I'm gonna sneeze for. No, I'm not gonna sneeze. I am Joe Millard. I play Craucus. I play Craucus, the half giant.
Nice. And I'm Robert Randle, and I am playing Ma'ak Ka'ari, a Thrycreen psionicist specializing in telepathy.
And Emelie, who plays Desi Dorada, the half-elf bard, was not able to join us tonight because of work obligations. So she is going to be probably getting a room and turning in early tonight because she has some personal, inventory to take as a character.
Yeah, it's been a busy day for sure.
Yeah. So I guess before we get straight into it, anybody got any announcements to make? Anything they wanted to talk about first, or we want to dive straight in?
Finally saw the new Spider-Man.
Oh,
I also did that for my birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday! Oh, also, it's
see...
Joe's birthday.
I'm 40 years old. 40 years old.
Happy birthday to Josephus.
You're part of the 40 Torty Club,
right?
Yeah, part of the. Yeah, you. Yeah, now it's just little Joe boy over there, little baby.
I'm the little baby boy.
Wait,
I'm not in the 40 club.
Because you're in the 50
true?
club?
Because I'm in the 50 club, yeah.
Well, over 40 club,
Yeah.
So.
Over the hill club. That's where we're all at.
But strangely, I don't look like I'm the oldest person in this group.
No, yeah, that's the thing, huh? Let's not get into that. And I will say
by age looks.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking looks. No, it's so funny because I'm the baby in this group, right? In the academy, I'm over a decade older than over half of the cadets.
Sure, definitely.
And
You're like Nathan Fillion in The Rookie.
Oh, yeah. And so they very quickly gave me the nickname Mama Mallard, and I am absolutely the adult in the room at all times with these children.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 100%. It's so buck wild, like being around 19-year-olds just all the time. Yeah.
It's funny that it forces you into the mature role. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to be mature because they have no...
They can't help themselves.
They can't help themselves, yeah, and they don't have any sort of life experience. They're really good kids, though.
You're the one who's teaching them proper way to draw dicks on sleeping people's faces. Like,
yeah, I teach them
all wrong. This is how you do it.
This is foreshortening. Yeah. I've been teaching them how to figure out dimension. Proper shading of the veins. And ball inclusion.
Always. Your tax dollars at work, folks.
Yeah.
Never ignore the value of a nice dimpled chin when drawing a dick and balls on a face.
Oh, it's perfect. Use what's already there, That's the thing. If you have texture, i.e. a dimpled chin, perfect. Perfect for a nice balls. This is a D&D. This is a D&D stream.
D&D game. Yeah. Okay.
Wait a minute.
On the dimple, you could draw a cat's butt on your chin.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
dimples look like the little...
Yeah. A nice little pucker. Tail up.
Back to the 40 discussion. Emily's not 40, right?
No, but let's not talk about her age.
Good idea.
Well, she's an actress, so that means she's 5 years older than she claims.
Oh, okay.
Spicy take, but
No, that's just.
But in all honesty,
that's a
I
trope.
don't even know what Emily claims to be because you just, I as a friendly courtesy, I've never even asked.
how gentlemanly.
Right?
I always assume everyone.
he does like, you just, I never, you just make, as a general rule, I just don't ask people how old they are.
Yeah.
Good idea. Good policy.
And one thing you never say to a woman, unless you are 100% certain, you never say, "So when do you do?"
Yeah, fair.
I
Yeah,
speak from experience.
Oh, yikes.
cool.
I don't talk about babies. Period.
Just even if they're in the room.
Yeah. Like, fuck that baby.
Man, I was listening to a podcast.
Middle fingers to all babies. You see a baby in a room, you walk in, he's like, "Fuck you, baby."
So yeah, all right. Very, 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 very minor tangent. I was listening to my brother and me, an advice show for the modern era, and they were, their thing is they take questions, right, and they look at Yahoo answer questions, and one of the questions is, what do you do if you're around an ugly baby? And the question asker is specifically like, what do you say about it? Like trying to figure out the direct approach, and is like, well, and then there's like a list of answers that they were reading online. Is like, make small
They'll grow
talk.
into it.
What?
They'll grow into that face.
No, it's like one of them is like, make small talk. So what do you think of little Jeremy? Oh, the weather. Like, that was.
I mean, my
Joe,
go-to answer is like, I disdain people who want you to fawn over their babies anyway. So my rote response is, "It's a baby," and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a baby.
So,
And
anyways,
if they
Going
are
really
offended,
well,
it's
man.
because I don't really like them to begin with, and I don't care. Otherwise, they know my sense of humor and get a laugh out of it.
I did often point out that my nephew looked like a turtle when he was a baby, but I thought it was a cute turtle.
Yeah, it's like babies, puppies, like just cute things in general. I don't care.
Oh, I'm all about puppies. Puppies and babies are not even in the same category. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
You can leave a puppy at home by itself for 8 hours.
That's right.
Mine's the same response. Like, yeah, it's a dog. It's a baby. It's a dog. It's a puppy.
Are you a cat
Wow.
person, Aaron?
No,
Oh,
he's
Aaron's
not
not
I'm
an
not a-
anything person.
I'm a wild animal person. Like all
Aaron's
the
a
animals I
Grinch.
like are outside my
heart-
door.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny. When he
I
met
am-
my dog when he was a puppy, he picked up my puppy and put him in a tree. I was like, my first thought was absolute shock, and I was like, "Have you been around dogs?" He just picked up my little dog. Put him
Maybe
in
he
the
thought
tree
it was a
and
bird dog.
Shut up! Mark. Oh my god, you stupid buffoon! You most idiot person I've ever met.
Yeah. Like I like animals that take care of themselves. Like I have a pond in the backyard that I built, and it gets toads every year, and I thoroughly enjoy listening to the toads.
And you throw
They do
kittens
their-
in it
they-
every
they-
year.
Yeah, they do their fucking. They make more toads. I see them bouncing around,
God damn.
and then they're gone. And then I get to watch the roadrunners eat them. I get to watch the hawks eat them. I get to watch I enjoy watching birds pass by, but like just keep them out of the house. Like
Well, there we have it. Aaron, I think you will replace David Attenborough when he passes on.
Yeah.
Then toads get fucking.
So,
Okay.
we had a chat from one of our viewers that said, "No pets for Aaron." So,
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just never that's a longer story I guess we can get into at some point, but not really worth it. They just don't interest me. It's just not my thing. I like to leave the house when I want to. And be able to stay away from the house as long as I feel like. My wife's the same. So,
She likes you to leave the house for long periods of time.
Yeah. Yeah, just any rate. Okay, so I don't think I have anything. I think all of the stuff that I've been talking about, I've already been talking about. I guess I'll beat him again. I got West of Sundown coming up. My first author credit on a book. It's me and Tim Seeley. I think issue 1's coming out in March. I'm not sure when FOC is on that. Should be coming up pretty soon. Actually, super proud of that. The artist on that is Jim Terry.
Who's publishing it?
It's Vault. So I've done lots of covers for Vault, so I'm doing all the covers on that. Actually, you know what? The fun thing is for issue 3, Tim Seeley has a really good friend who is like a bona fide screen queen. She was in Tromeo and Juliet. Her name's Tiffany Shepis. And she called Tim out of the blue and said, I want to be in this book. And so he connected her to me. And so she was my model for the cover for issue 3. So nice. She's playing a character in the book, or she's portraying a character in the book called Unsightly Annie, who actually is not unsightly at all. I haven't really asked him like what that name's about yet. So there's that coming out. Jim's work is amazing in it. And if you're not familiar with Jim Terry's work, look up his autobiographical book, Come Home Indio, which is an indie book that he put out about him returning to the reservation in Wyoming. His father, I think it was his father who was Ho-Chunk tribe. And so it's about him kind of coming to terms with, this father that he never really knew. So really incredible piece of work. And he's a fanatic about like hammer horror and like spaghetti westerns and stuff, which is what the book is. And then we're just a couple weeks out from the first issue of Suicide Squad Blaze hitting stands. So keep your eyes on that. What about you, Mark? Do you have any books coming out?
Nothing that I can talk about.
Ooh, something that you'll DM us later about?
Oh.
No.
Come on. Come on. I genuinely laughed at your really bullshit joke, Bird Dog.
That's on you, not me.
I know, that's fair.
Okay, so I think that's it for it. So why don't we get into it now? I don't really have anything planned for The Wanderer tonight. Was feeling a little burnt out on that shtick, so I'm going to give it a rest this week and just dive right in. So, having said that,
The Wanderer's dead.
Wanderer's taking a nap. And now here he is. Okay, so we'll sit here. Welcome to the Golden Inix, home afar for so many through the years. The small tavern is situated at the northeast end of the circuit, a stretch of the caravan way that broadens to over 200 feet and follows a smooth and even curve to the southwest. Just past the bright cerulean blue door and the ever-dozing Jarix, this modestly furnished taverna is narrow as a bow shot. Communal tables that can accommodate as many as 8 people of varying proportions cramp the wall along the left-hand side of the room. Their tops are slender slabs of flagstone supported by hard-packed earthen plinths. This is standing room only, save for the low bench that runs along the full length of the opposite wall. Tiny apertures that can scarcely be called windows penetrate the wall above the bench just below the timber-beamed ceiling. Wood is a precious resource in Athos. Forests only grow high in the mountains among terrible beasts and cannibal halfling tribes, making those twisted, rough-hewn limbs that pass for beams, and the front door, perhaps the most valuable assets in the Golden Inix. It is an expensive... It is an expense that is vital to Tyr, though. Without them, the city could not hope to construct the multi-storied buildings that accommodate its massive population. Beneath that ceiling, the walls are whitewashed mud plaster and present a simple yet dazzling mural of geometric forms, cleverly painted to seem almost three-dimensional. Ochres, earthy reds, and umbers create an illusion of pillars and recessed panels. Within the seemingly recessed panels are scenes of feasting and libation. Small clay oil lamps scattered throughout the space on tables and small niches, and hanging from the 12-foot ceiling cast a dim glow. Strelix, the more crime stick-bug man, stands sentinel in the center of the room. To all newcomers, nothing more than a wooden post to hang their weapons on. Between the tables and bench, a single aisle runs along the polished earthen floor, straight from the front door to the stairs at the back leading up to the lodgings offered up by Mila Risani, owner and tavern keeper of the Golden Inix. An ancient-looking woman with a shock of curly white hair and a kindly yet cunning look in her eye. Night is coming fast. The air is cooling rapidly outside, but the thick adobe wall should buttress the cold until the Golden Inix is once again packed to overflowing with warm, sun-baked bodies, eager for a cup of broy, a skewer of deep-fried Inix liver, and a welcome face. So, you are all standing around one of these tables along the side of the room. The Golden Inix is still somewhat sparsely populated. There's perhaps another dozen individuals throughout this room, which actually measures about 15 feet wide by 40 feet long. Cramped certainly for a half giant and a Thri-Kreen. However, our young halfling, Laj Abeesh, has actually climbed up on the table that you're all standing at, is sitting with her legs dangling and her back leaning against the wall, this muraled wall. You're waiting for drinks and food to come back, which we had kind of put off from last time. Sorry, brain fart. Char had put on a nice little show, but had excused himself and went over and talked to Mila, and then there was a loud yelling at each other. She threatened to throw all of you out, and lots of bluster, and then Char comes back. And this is all after an afternoon spent at the Mole's Rest, where you interrogated Pressure Vey, who is currently with you, and Laj Abeesh. And after an interesting little chase that erupted after Geza spilt the beans about who it was you were exactly looking for within the Veiled Alliance, certain Katandeo. And then Ma'ak was like, nope, too much information, kill the halfling. And after a few tense moments, you were able to diffuse the situation, Geza, and find some common ground so that you could at least have a civil conversation in the Golden Inix. So now here's the thing. Before we get any further, there is something that we forgot to do at the end of last session.
Last two sessions, actually.
Well, no, because I was waiting for a certain milestone to happen.
Oh, all right.
In order to draw beads. So we did not draw beads at the end of last session. So we do need to draw beads. And so we will start top to bottom. We'll start with Marc. You need to tell me, and just so we're all clear, currently the campaign bin, the
It's
campaign
full, right?
cup is full, so no more beads there. The signpost cup is full, so no more beads there.
I thought, is Signpost collective too?
Signpost is the one where when you use it, it goes back into the cup. It goes back into the pot, rather. So you haven't used that yet. Now, granted, I guess there actually, you know what? You could go ahead and you could always put more into Signpost, and then we could just do this. We could always put more into Signpost, and then I will blindly draw whatever. I'll blindly draw 2 beads, and whatever those 2 beads that I draw are is going to determine what that signpost is going to look like.
And we just
Makes
and we can just at will ask for a signpost, or
Yeah, like as long as there's 2 beads in the signpost bin, you can ask for a signpost. If you're stuck somewhere and you need a clue or a hint or something, you'd be like, I need a signpost, and then I can draw out 2 beads. Right now, it contains a black and a blue. So, but yeah, I don't have any problems of putting more. I mean, we could end up with kind of a pile of them.
But you said signpost is. That's what I meant though. Is signpost a pot? Like, do we all contribute and it only takes 2, or do we each
2.
have our own signpost pool?
It's a pot for the entire group.
Okay, then I don't have where we're at with it. So where are we at with signpost?
We have 2 right now. There's 2 in signpost. So
2
I mean,
positive or
right
2
now
negative?
it's usable.
one of each.
One of each.
There's one.
Okay. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah. And then for everybody else, it looks like we've got Desi's got a full arc. Looks like also Cha'ar's got a full arc. So, and then in addition, Cha'ar has an inspiration that he needs to use. And that's pretty much it. So keep that in mind, Char. You have an inspiration, and you should actually indicate that on your character sheet that you have inspiration.
How do I do that?
There's a little place for it.
To the right of all of your strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, proficiency, walk-in, inspiration.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Yeah, and you just click that, and then if it's got a shining sun in there, you've got inspiration that you can use at will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And inspiration
And
is
actually
a reroll on a die. Is that what it is?
Inspiration gives you advantage on a roll. So if you have a positive karma bead, then it's advantage to
you or anyone you
one
want.
of your rolls. Yeah.
Any
or
roll
anyone
you
that you
choose,
want.
it
Yeah.
can be positive, and then the
You
negative
can
one
give your
is the same,
inspiration.
but it's imposing a negative roll on anyone you want.
Yeah.
So like you can
If
use it
you-
on your enemy. The difference is that's the one, Aaron, that when you spend it, it goes back in the pool, because it's kind of like you
Yeah,
spend
that's right.
bad
Yeah,
karma,
that's what I was
it's
gonna
going to come back and bite you again down the line. You know, that kind of idea.
But he had a positive inspiration.
Yeah, right now you have a positive inspiration.
Nice.
So if it was a negative inspiration, I wouldn't have had you notate that on your character sheet. And because of that, because you've notated it now, it's been logged, I can put that back into the pot. So, which actually I won't do just yet, because that needs to go into a subsidiary, because we're not drawing based on that. That's going to influence future ones, not right now. So, having said that, where would you, Cha'ar, like your karma bead to go? Really, right now, all that you really have, you can put it into signpost, you can build up signpost, or you can put it back into your inspiration.
I'll put it in inspiration.
Okay. Bad karma bead. Bad karma.
Disadvantage.
Now, what that means is that you can give disadvantage to someone else's roll, and that could be even disadvantage to the other players if you want to do some PvP. I won't stop you, but you know, just any roll you can give disadvantage to.
Oh, you can give disadvantage to an opponent?
Yeah,
That's how Pressure Vey failed his save against your hold person. He made it, and I spent my bead on him.
Oh, I didn't know you had a disadvantage. That's cool.
That's why he failed on the second roll. And I
Awesome.
was able to grab him and pull him out of the window and do the whole hover thing I did with him.
Nice.
yeah. So, and then I'm just gonna keep these in the inspirations and stuff will just stay inside the pots and stuff until you guys level up, and then and then that's when they'll all go back in. Okay, so let's see. Next in line is going to be Joe Annabi. Geza. And Geza, you got pretty much. You've only got one in arc, and that's it. That's all you got.
And are we to know what's good or bad in our things?
You just decide first, then I draw. Oh well, yeah. You'll see once I draw it. Right now, you have a good karma bead in your character arc.
Okay, so yeah, we'll put it in my arc. That's fine.
Oh,
Good.
nice! Yay! You could use some good karma in your arc, actually.
Definitely.
Hey, and now for Millard or Craucus.
I don't know if I'll be able to pull out the Craucus voice the way it was. So, I don't know if I should do the
take inspiration. I don't think.
right. Inspiration.
Yeah. Because right now you
right.
have in your character arc, you have a bad and a good karma bead in your character arc. So you need one more.
All right, inspiration. Feed me, Daddy.
I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea of the reveal. Not even knowing it.
Oh no! Well, that's
that
tracks for me.
Now,
Whatever. I don't
also,
give a shit.
here's the
Good,
other
but-
thing to think about as far as the bad karma bead is concerned. In theory, if you don't spend it and you level up, Aaron takes it out of the bag and it never comes back. It's sort of like you ate the bad karma, and you didn't
love
take
eating.
advantage of it. And it's sort of a good that you can do with it too. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Wait, so you're saying because the idea is that
Because
like,
remember,
when we level
everything
up,
can
if
go
you
back
haven't
in the
spent
bag or not, right? So it's the thing of like you can eat the bad karma and sort of take it on yourself in a saintly sort of way, right?
it. Yeah.
Okay. Ma'ak is definitely taking arc because you teased me about Zomar. So let's get it on.
Yeah. And right now you have nothing in your.
No, I got nothing in arc.
Yeah. Okay. Even I don't know yet.
Of course, it's gonna be bad. It's Zomar. Awesome. Okay. Wait.
And actually, that means that there are only 3 beads left to level up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Right.
So, yeah. So.
But that's the point, Joe. Also, if you spend it, it sort of delays the leveling up too. Does it make sense? Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to. There's only 4 sides to this pumpkin. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so before we get into things, as we get into the first thing that kind of happens is you can see ever since that you came into the Golden Inix, Desi has been looking very pensive and inward, and you can tell that everything that's been happening up until now is just kind of eating away at her. The encounter with Pressure Bay has gotten to her. What's going on with Laj Abeesh, and then of course you've spent months on the run at this point. At least, I mean, you've been in the desert, Ma'ak and Desi, for at least a month, probably a month and a half. I mean, time kind of got lost there for a while, but it's been a while.
And didn't we spend a few weeks in Kled in sort of that downtime too? So it's been a few months
just between. And then of course, before that, I mean, there were months that Desi spent. It's just been, for her, it's been completely whirlwind, and you can tell that all she really wants at this point is just some time to herself. And so she basically says, "Gentlemen, my fucking French voice. Where are we? I can't. I'm not gonna fucking try
you could
it.
just summarize
So,
what she tells us.
Yeah, basically she tells you that she just needs to decompress, and she passes a few kind of private words of pressure, and then says, I I think I'm going to excuse myself. There's still some daylight. I saw across the way it looked to be a bathhouse. I'm going to go and have a sand bath, clean myself of all of this filth, and then retire for the evening. If for some reason an emergency arises, well, just reach out to me, Ma'ak.
I will give you as much peace as I am able.
Okay. And she excuses herself. She goes over, talks to Mila for a moment. You can see some some ceramic pieces exchange hands, and then she makes her way out through the front and out into the street. And at this point, it's still like kind of early dusk. And more people are starting to file in. When you first arrived, it was fairly quiet inside here. And now more people, the noise is starting to ratchet up a little bit. The sound of people talking and starting to make cheers, laughing is coming. There's one person like over on one side who pulls out a small stringed instrument and starts to strum on that. You're not quite sure if that's house entertainment or just somebody who wants to while away the hours over on the bench and play some music and drink some broy. So having said that, let's take everyone's order. So as I said last time, a room for the night is 5 bits, and a meal is a ceramic piece. Is that right? Hold on, give me just a second. Let me make sure I'm getting these numbers right, because I make sure you guys notate this stuff. Yeah, 5 bits. So a room is 5 bits for the night for just a standard, small little like bed, basically, and that is a shared room. So these rooms
That'd be enough for all of us.
The rooms accommodate 4 people. So
Half
so
giant and 2 people, or what?
Yeah, you could cram in.
I mean, Ma'ak doesn't need to sleep. I mean, he doesn't even need to be in the room.
Yeah.
You guys do, and he'll guard you if you want that. But it seems like the point of this place is you can sleep here and not worry, right? So, isn't that?
Yeah,
the
I
point
mean,
of
like
this
there's
right.
that is very much the point. So, but if you want to rent a complete room, you have to rent all of the beds. Otherwise, you take a bed, and then you get bunked with other people if somebody else wants a room as well. So, luck of the draw. And so there's that. Of course, if you want to upgrade, she has a plethora of other rooms and suites available. She just kind of says, I just assume, based on the way that I just assumed that you probably would want one of the less expensive rooms. But if you would like a finer accommodation, I have rooms for a ceramic, and I have suites for a silver.
So we talked about this off stream. Does anyone have money noted on their character sheets other than me?
I don't, but I know that I had money. It was discussed, but Aaron put my character sheet into D&D Beyond.
And Ma'ak doesn't know how to count the money that he has, but he has money. He has what remains of the pickpocket who robbed the piss pot. That little girl we met when we first got into town.
Sure.
She dropped the money. Ma'ak's been holding it, and he's been spending it all this time, using it as bait for information. Right. So
let's make it real easy then, and say that each of you have 15 ceramic pieces, and Ma'ak has 10 because he's been spending.
10 ceramic pieces or bits?
ceramic pieces.
Oh,
That's
okay,
it.
nice.
So, and if we go to on our character sheets, there's action, spells, then inventory. If you go to inventory, there is a place to enter gold,
Yeah, there's
silver,
gold
and copper and
Yeah.
platinum and shit like that.
What's
Um,
is
so
gold?
silver would be a ceramic piece because bits would be copper then. And then silver is Ethereum or either Electrum or gold. I think we were skipping Electrum and I'm using gold because usually we only use gold, silver, and copper.
Yeah, don't worry about Electrum. Just don't worry about Electrum at all.
Yeah,
Sure.
in this case, I think the economics of it are based on the gold, silver, copper breakdown 10, 10,
Yeah,
10.
one copper. So one ceramic bit equals a copper. One silver equals a ceramic piece. One silver equals a gold piece, and one gold piece equals a platinum piece.
Right.
Thanks, Athos.
That makes sense for everybody.
Totally clear.
Unfortunately,
Totally clear.
unfortunately, we can't rename them.
Yeah.
I looked
Oh,
and you can't.
How do you add them to your character
Okay,
sheet?
so,
So
Mark,
go to inventory on your character sheet. Did you
Yeah.
go there?
Yep.
Then under inventory, the top line, it says weight carried, and then to the right of that, there's a little symbol. If you click on that, it should bring up your managed coin.
Yeah, it took me forever to find that
Yeah.
because it's not labeled.
And then if your
It's
managed
just a-
coin is popped up, then you can enter them on the bottom. You can adjust coin by add or remove. You can put the number and then hit the add or remove button. And so for this, since you're just adding ceramic, you're going to put the ceramic under SP, silver piece.
Yeah, 15 silver.
Yeah.
Got it.
Great.
Oh, and it's worth noting I still have one of BAP's silvers left.
Okay, so you have that one. Okay.
So denote that under gold.
Right. Yeah. Mock's holding on to that one. But so I
And
mean as far as sorry.
I was just going to say, as far as everybody can carry their own shit or whatever, but if you're saying Ma'ak doesn't know how to handle money, I don't know how good Crowcus is with money.
Oh,
Crowcus.
Jezza,
So Crowcus historically can be a little frivolous, and it is definitely not the wisest with his money. If he sees something he likes, he'll spend it. And you are used to keeping an eye on me when I start to go, I
Yeah.
want that.
yeah, but you're going to hold your own money unless you tell me to hold it. And
I
Ma'ak
have told you, can you save some of my money?
Okay, so if you want to give me some of your 15 and I'm holding it in mind, just let me know.
I'm going to give
Mock's
you...
okay. He's fascinated by this whole concept that
Okay.
people think this is valuable and they'll do things for it. What else will they do for it? You know?
I'm
Yeah,
giving you
and-
5 of my pieces,
Okay,
so I have 10.
okay. And he'll just tell you, Ma'ak, if you need help calculating something, I'm here. I'm
thank you.
well versed in money handling.
Excellent. No, you are well versed in much. Ikos, air priest.
All thanks to my Ra'is that you knew very briefly.
Yes, but was an honor to know him even for a short time. I think though, Ma'ak would be looking for Ticha'ar for cues. Like, what do we do here? Like, people hunt for you and bring you food. That seems strange. For this bait, okay. You know, will they bring me what? And so I think though we should maybe see what, like, because we want to get rid of that Inix that we brought, right? Because we're not. What do we want to? We've got that, and we've got the wagon. I know Desi's
Get the
probably going to want.
wagon, get the Inix. Did you still have an Erdlu, or was it just the?
Char
just
had
the
an
Inix?
Erdlu, right?
But
Unless
that
it-
got left. That got left behind, though, didn't it?
I don't. Maybe
Unless
maybe
it
when we
was
climbed up a
unless it
mountain
was
somewhere.
dragging the cart along with the other animals.
No,
or-
that was
Oh,
the
right.
Inix.
No,
The Inix is
we didn't get
the
the
Inix is
Inix
like a
till later.
20-foot lizard. The Erdlu is the Kokobo, the Chocobo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. If it's up to you, Aaron. If we lost it somewhere along the way, it's all that we could have.
Pretty sure. I'm
100
pretty
times.
sure you lost it. I think you
Yeah,
had. You
it's
just
fine.
had the Inix. which was pulling the wagon. So, but that's a huge beast of burden. So that's got some value in it as well.
Well, and they serve Inix here, is my point. Maybe we could just trade.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
Also, what's our plan with you guys? Want to keep the cart? Where do we want to keep the cart? Is that something we can house permanently here? Or?
I mean, I think Desi's going to need some time to think about this, but my understanding is it makes the most sense that since we have to go to war with House Ianto anyway, since we need a patron anyway, and since we have all this damaging information that we can share with people, the right people, and have other people destroyed simply by sharing that, we should simply just leverage ourselves to take over House Ianto by arranging their downfall. But I think to do that, we need to look like merchants, and merchants have goods. So we probably need the wagon for camouflage, at least until we can move into House Ianto's, shoes, so to speak.
Or
die in the process. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but I think we're going to war.
Is there a long-term lodging situation for the cart here, perhaps, at this Golden Inix? Or if not, we need to find somewhere by tomorrow?
Well, I mean, in theory, we can put it in the street somewhere, and I can watch it while you sleep. But actually, Aaron, at one point you mentioned that what was his name? Ibel Bajuk.
Yeah.
When we made our deal with him, he said he was going to go to the Fuller's Urn and then take his sons to the Golden Inix for a drink, to basically drink the rest of Crocus's wine. Is he still here?
Well, that was at the Messenger's. Oh, he was going to go to the Golden Inix.
Yeah. Remember I said take this drink and make it a long trip, right? So he might still be here finishing off the last of that wine. Or but that may have been hours ago. I'm not sure exactly how. Time's been weird, right? So
choose highs, lows, Rob.
I think it will be very high feeling if he's actually here.
Oh, yeah, he is actually here, and you just notice he kind of wanders in from he was huddled down at the end of the room, kind of in a dark corner, close to the bar top, with his back to you, so you didn't quite notice him at first. But now looking around, yeah, that's him.
Are his 3 half-elven sons still with him, or did he send them back to work?
Yeah, just him.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll Geza, the man himself is over there.
Well, he said we need to get the cart out by tomorrow.
I can ask these guys. The rest of the group doesn't know that the thing I did with the bar owner was staged, right?
No, we have no idea.
No.
So
at this point, well, I mean, unless they gave an insight check. I mean, you guys,
I wouldn't have made one. I probably.
Yeah.
If I saw him talking to the woman, I would definitely read his body language, since that's my thing.
You can give me an insight check then.
So 19.
19. Yeah, you're pretty sure that was all staged.
I don't mind through Mock's mind link sharing with these guys what I was doing, because then what I was going to say is I can go ask her if there's a place where we can conceal the wagon or park the wagon.
Or if she knows somewhere that we can take it long term.
Yeah.
I mean, she seems a very well-connected person in the city. Someone good to know, or good that you know her at least a little.
Yeah.
Good. I think we should do our best to alleviate what woes we can. I
should check with her first, since we're here. If there's a place like nearby or on this property, that's quickest.
I think. Let me see. I think of the 5 or the 4 of you, Char, give me a quick, just based on what you've been talking about so far. Give me a quick intelligence check. Just a standard intelligence check.
14.
14.
Can I use my inspiration on that?
Don't waste it.
Hey,
14's fine.
Don't waste it on this.
Okay.
It's good enough for you to know that who suggested the idea of bartering the Inix?
I think
Nah.
Mark did.
Mark,
Yeah.
you've Inixes are a common beast of burden, and Kled has used them many times. You yourself have never been involved in the purchase or sale of Inixes for the town, but you know they bring in multiple silvers or cost multiple silvers.
Hmm.
So there's lots of value in that animal.
It's much more valuable than. Well, I'm sorry. It's up to you how much of that you share.
Yeah.
Me?
So I just wanted, yeah, and you can do with that what you want. I just wanted you to understand that as a character that came up, and it's just of all of the things. Like, feel free to keep talking about what you were talking. I just wanted your character to understand.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I don't think there's any. I don't think we need to deal with Inix right now. I think.
Well, the
It's like-
Inix,
It's just we should know it's worth at least a handful of silver.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's great.
and if it's worth a handful of silver, it's probably worth it to them to give us free room and board, and maybe to keep our cart on the premises for some amount of time.
Yes. That sounds like a fair
alleviate
trade.
more than one burden.
Well, I'm going to ask her. I'm going to ask her as a favor and see what I can get for nothing, and
Sounds
then
great.
go
I
up
mean,
from there. There's no point in going in offering her top dollar or something for something she might give us for free.
and something else that had occurred to me, though we don't want to necessarily leverage it too much, but she does seem like a very connected woman. Of all the people we've met so far in the city, it seems that Geza, based on Cha'ar's trust of her, she might be willing to share with the fire priest. An Ikrit is the word. With the Ikrit, if she knows anyone in the Veiled Alliance that would talk with you.
I definitely had that inkling as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that could be among the things that you bring up to her on a sidebar.
Worth a silver or two, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So three things on the agenda, because even if she's willing to house the cart for free, she will have interest in taking our Inex, and that's another thing we need to offload in the immediate. And then we'll have money, room and board, hopefully somewhere to put the cart, and maybe she knows where we can find the Veiled Alliance, if not Katendeo himself.
And
Maybe he
if
drinks
to sweeten the pot, maybe if she needs some heavy stuff lifted, we got a giant, a half giant, and a bug guy. So maybe we can do a little help here around here for her.
Definitely.
Because that
I can hold the weapons as well as that.
Well, the reason I say that
more
is because she always sees snooty rich people coming in, and to be able for us to treat her job with respect means a lot as far as loyalty. So if we're willing to wash a dish or two or take out some trash while we're here, that will be worth more than silver.
Well, if I can be of service, Cha'ar, you can offer it to her. If
Yeah, it won't be anything. It won't be
help the
anything
clutch.
humiliating. It'll just be stuff that we could probably do to make her life easier. That will make her more. Because she already trusts me. It'll make her be more open to you guys, and that is she's a great connection.
Then
Yes, ask her if she has any rats in the basement that need tending.
It's a restaurant. There are
Osrog in the
definitely
basement.
rats in the basement.
yes, go forth and build a Getok chat with her.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the first thing you're going to do? Well, okay. Before we, because you want to do some bartering first before you exchange coin. So what's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm going to ask her if there's a place where we can put our wagon for the indefinite immediate future. If she has any free spaces or knows of places.
Well, there's the messenger's mount. I assume that is where you have it now, but beside that, unless you have a patron here in town who can house it, I am not sure what to tell you.
Would a silver piece change that at all?
Silver for
Or ceramic, right?
information about it?
No,
Ceramic
silver.
piece?
Silver.
Silver?
I think that's what Bajuk wanted from us the first time.
Was it ceramic or a silver? A
No,
ceramic.
he wanted a silver coin, and I was like, even I know that's too much to ask. What about this? Or
Yeah.
we'd have to go back and listen, or share Moak's memories. I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly
but
what
she
I said,
said-
but
But she says, a silver to tell you where to house your wagon?
No, not a silver to tell us where, a silver to provide us a place.
Oh, sure.
We have an Inix.
Well, I would be interested in the Inex if the creature looks well, but I do not have stables to accommodate, unfortunately, no matter how much you were able to give me. Believe me, if I did, I would gladly take your silver. But we can't talk about this Inex. I have a lot of mouths to feed, many coins to take.
Do I want to bring up the Veiled Alliance with her, guys?
no, not yet. But see about what you can sell the Inex for, and then let's use the money that we get to pay off Bajuk to keep the wagon where it is.
Okay.
Seems fair.
Does anybody have a positive inspiration bead?
Yeah.
Char does.
Okay, it's up to you if you use it, but one of our viewers just suggested something that none of us, because we're all stupid people, thought to think about. Do you want to use it?
What for?
It's specifically for getting rid of the Beast of Burden.
Yeah.
They said, is there a butcher in town?
Yeah, I was trying to see if this was like a situation where I should use an audience participation, because that's a pretty good goddamn suggestion, huh?
Well,
Maybe
what's the difference
that's
to us?
something that
I like the idea.
idea.
I do like the idea of allowing people to use their inspiration to incorporate audience suggestions.
Yeah.
I do too. I just don't know. I don't know if I would want to use my inspiration for that, because that's that many more steps we have to take with this beast. It's better to just sell it.
Yeah, chances are they can handle it here.
I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not clear on what the difference between selling it to a butcher or selling it to this Inex, Golden Inix.
It might just
person.
depend on what she's willing to offer you for it versus what a butcher.
Or whether they have a skilled butcher on staff who can make the most use of the meat.
And granted, like you're exchanging it for script versus coin. I think that was the idea, that you would get room and board kind of for as long as its value is worth. Is that the idea?
I mean,
potentially.
Mock is not the guy to do this.
I think it should be. I think we need a place. We need a place to assemble.
You could probably get
Okay.
You could get more value out of it that way than coin.
All right. Well, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna make. I offer to her. I said, we will, if you're willing, we will trade you the Inex for room and board while we're here.
private room.
Private room and board. Yeah, private room and board.
Private room and board.
And to sweeten the pot, if there's any heavy lifting that needs to be done, we are not above doing some chores that are beyond you to make your life.
Mock has 4 arms. He can wash lots of dishes.
I could always.
And I can get the dust bunnies.
She says I could always use that stout dwarven work ethic to my advantage, and sure, your insect. Sorry, she wouldn't say insect. Your Thrycreen friend, though I think that perhaps the customers might not like his hands in their stew pot, but 4 limbs is definitely better than 2. So perhaps we could work something out, but I would need to see this Inex first.
If Char, you tell me, I'll go get it.
Yeah, go get it.
All right, I'll happily go fetch it for her.
Okay, off you go.
All right.
To wrangle
And
the
actually,
Inex.
Aaron, while I'm doing that, I have some admin work to do. So as I'm
I
traveling,
will say before you go
Yeah.
forward, I would like to thank Comic Girl
Right.
for your suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is like the first time. This is the first time we've had audience participation. And
That's-
awesome.
Yeah.
So-
Well, beyond Cookie Pouch making bit donation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had that, but like actual like talking to us and suggestions and things. I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
So yeah.
All right. So anyway, Aaron, just we don't need to play a lot of this out.
Okay.
But Ma'ak will telepathically, contact the urchin who tipped him off about Pressure Bay in the first place and helped him get to Desi in time. That kid, I'm basically going to say, you know, I owe you a reward.
That little girl.
Was it a child? A girl? Yeah.
No,
The
not-
girl was the pickpocket. That's the
Yeah,
second
not
one.
the
I'm gonna get to that.
pickpocket. Yeah.
No, this was I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, actually. You just, the street urchin who said, we saw Pressure Bay going to the Mole's Rest. We saw him coming up the alley
Oh,
or
that
whatever.
kid. Yeah, right, that kid.
I owe him a coin. I said I would pay him back. Ma'ak doesn't forget stuff like that. So he would either meet the kid or tell him where to meet him or come to the Golden Inix and I'll pay you there, whatever. Like I want to take care of that, but I don't want to play it out.
Yeah, long story short, that kid is waiting for you at the messenger's mount right
Awesome.
outside.
Yep. Yeah, here
The
you go,
hitching
kid.
post.
Basically, what Ma'ak is doing, he's playing Tech Chakak here, but he is expanding House Dorada, Clutch Dorada's clutchmates, right? That's what we have fought together now, you and I. We have made common cause, and we are in mutual service to our clutch leader. You know, there is more work for you. Should you want it? House Dorada will always have use for your eyes and for your talents. So basically that's step one. Step two, I'm basically going to do the same thing with the pickpocket girl. She said she
So
was...
her name was Selena.
Selena?
and
Right.
Selena is at the Portec White Wine Shop.
Right. It's like her mother's wine shop or something like that.
Screaming Cellar near something
Yeah,
square.
near
To
the shadow
mock
square.
distance is whatever. I'm finding the mind, right? So I'm going to find her mind and basically same offer. You know, come to the Golden Inix and what remains of your money you can have. Right. Or
Right.
whatever. And then the third one, this is why Ma'ak did it away. Not that it mattered. He could share that. He could do this privately. But there is one last clutchmate he has to contact. And that is Bap.
Ah!
Oh,
Does not
totally
matter.
down.
Does not matter the betrayal, any of that. We fought together. Bap saved Ma'ak's life. He can't forget that. We are not yet not clutchmates. He has betrayed us, but it's not separated yet. So he has like one more chance.
Oh, I am
So
so
Bach
tempted
will
to use my
reach out
negative
to him.
inspiration.
Yeah, you might want to scroll me up.
You're not allowed to incorporate this into your. The jury must disregard what Ma'ak is doing.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and Ma'ak will take his time and he will find Bap's mind. He has found him before. He can find him again, especially because he's a clutchmate. At least for now. We are basically if we were Kreen, there'd be all these like pheromones going on about like us breaking clutch and whatever. But for now, there's this. He's also doing his tech check thing, so it's about connecting. But anyway, he'll say, Bap, listen to me and do not respond. Simply hear my words. I made a promise to you to liberate you from your enslavers, but I could not do that adequately if you did not tell me the extent of your enslavement. These sorcerers, these defilers, you find yourself beholden to. They are your true enslavers. And if I can liberate you from them, I will do so. However, should you betray us one more time, I will have no choice but to defend my clutch and end your life. That being said, you have a chance to help us help you. If you can tell me how we can reach Katandeo before you infiltrate as an adept into the Veiled Alliance. We will do our best. I will do my best to liberate you and not kill you. To use the Alliance to free you from your captivity. But if you fail to do so, Bap, there will be nothing I can do. And when we find you, know I will be coming for you as a hunter. But a few moments. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to. You would know that BAP identifies as Shazar, just for your own.
Shazar, you're right. I'm sorry. I forgot that name. You're right. So, but Ma'ak
And-
wouldn't, right? So you would call him
and-
Shazar.
And we're not mind linked right now, so we
No,
weren't
I
here
cut you
yet.
all out. I did this.
No.
Sorry, I did this solo.
Okay, well that's good because if I knew that, I wouldn't stand for it.
I know. That's why. I know.
You were
Yeah,
gonna throw a woman out a window that we just met. but
I
you're
will
gonna
give
motherfucker
this to the rest.
Second chance?
No. It's more complicated than that. I know. This is complicated, but this is his chance. Can he get us to Kente?
He had his
Kendeo
chance
first.
He had his chance.
Yeah. No, and I actually expect him to not give me this name, and in which case I know we can come for him and not
Well,
feel bad about
I'll
it.
liberate him. I'll liberate him from his flesh.
I bet you will, and I actually expect that's the way this is going. But this is Shazar's chance. Does he give me information, Aaron? Because I'm gonna cut the mind link off in like less than a minute.
You told him not to respond.
Not to respond until I finish talking. So now,
Oh,
tell me how to get in touch with Katandeo before we can before you do.
oh man.
Does he
How much
give
time
me
do you
the
give him
information I need
how-
to find the
how
Veiled
much
Alliance,
time
Aaron?
How much time do you give him to respond?
I would give him as much as I could, but I can't imagine that Ma'ak would leave that open than more than a few minutes.
And he'll say that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to kind of put the pressure on this. I don't want to let him look. He's kind of got to
Okay,
decide,
well,
you know.
You're going to give him a few minutes, though.
A few minutes to decide.
Basically, like
because
the
it's
idea
a big
till you
decision.
get back
I
to
know.
till you get back to the Golden Inix kind of
Sure.
idea.
Like let me say to the time to go get the Onyx and bring it back to Tavern. By the time I hit the door and I see that half giant, then that's where I'm like, all right, or Shazar. If I haven't heard by then, then I'll say what I say depending on what you say, Aaron.
Question: do we know? Did we feel the mind link get turned off? Would we be suspicious if your mind link was turned off? for
Well,
us for a long
that's
time?
what I was going to say.
Maybe.
Like the three of you give me insight checks. I'm going to say with disadvantage though, because like you're kind of preoccupied, so it might go easily unnoticed. So I'm going to give you an insight check, but with disadvantage.
I mean, it's fair. Ma'ak rarely ends it.
So 18 is my disadvantaged roll.
Wow.
-1.
That comports.
Yep. I rolled a 15 and then a 2.
15.
Or I rolled an 18 and then
All
a
right.
2.
15 total. So, and Gezo, yours was
An 18.
18.
Yeah.
You're the
It's
only one
probably
that
suspicious.
notices. Yeah, you're the only one that notices that it drops out for a few minutes.
Okay.
It's up to you whether you want to, announce that to the rest of the group. So,
No.
okay.
All right.
So,
does he
you
give
go.
me
You get
intelligence
the
that I
Inix
can
and you-
action on, Aaron, or no?
Well, this is the thing. Like, you start to think that there is not going to be any response from it, and you get the Inix. You have like a little talk with the sons who were there, and they're assholes, but eventually get the Inix out. They keep reminding you, if you're not back here in the morning, all of this is ours. Like shit like that. And ticking clock. And
It's fine. I don't
start
really
to
want to
make-
engage with them. Too
making your
much.
way back to the Golden Inix, and as you're nearing the circuit, that area of the caravanway that widens, where the Golden Inix is, a voice comes through haltingly and very quickly and says, "They're listening. I cannot speak." And then he says, Shadow Square tomorrow. Noon. I'll find you. And then but he also
See you
says,
then, and I'll end
find
it.
a way. Yeah. So
Aaron, can I ask you to be closer to your mic when you do other characters? You really drop out. I can't hear you. No, I'm sorry. I just literally can't hear you.
I've got to get a new mic, so that picks things up better. So let me say that again. He says, can't speak. They're always listening. Tomorrow, Shadow Square. Come alone. Noon. I'll find you.
I will see you then. Be safe. And I will end the mind link. And I actually probably won't. Oh, shit. I do not like being duplicitous with my clutch mates, but I would discuss this with Desi first.
Okay.
So, I will come back in like nothing's nothing, or at least I'll bring that Inix and hand it to the half giant. Like, here you go.
Okay.
We're
remember the Inix is like a 20 to 30 foot long.
No, I'm sorry. I meant hand him the leash.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
Yeah.
Coming through the door.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
so-
taking it inside. Sorry, I wasn't clear on that.
We don't have to get too deep into the weeds about haggling over this Inix. Let me roll just to see how good it's a very good Inix because I rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Ooh.
So, okay. So she's going to give you what she thinks is its full value and a little extra. She says typically if she was going to give you coin, she'd give you 10 silver for it. But seeing as she knows and trusts you are and you want it in room and board rather than coin, she'll give you 12 silver worth for it. So somebody needs to notate that. Okay, so
I got it.
keep in mind that
Yes,
12 silver.
Yeah.
Keep in mind.
You're
Yeah.
our
Keep in mind.
accountant.
Yeah. Somebody needs to be the accountant on this.
Yeah, Geza
So
can be.
that's the
numbers.
value of 12 silver. That is equivalent to 120 bits. So if you want a private room, that's going to be 1 ceramic a night, and that room will accommodate all of you.
It's
So,
one silver a night.
One sorry, not
ceramic.
silver, one ceramic.
Nice. Okay.
So
One
and
D&D
then
silver a
for-
night.
Yeah, and then for room and for board for just we'll just pay it as we go. So
And what
we don't get
about
free Inix?
assisting her like with stuff like chores?
That'll extend it beyond the value of the Inix, probably.
yeah, she's like we can
Okay, I just wanted to address it.
yeah, she's basically says we can talk about that as needed. But she says this is a far better specimen than she was ever expecting from the group of you. She's in a little jab, just like just looking at
Yeah,
the state
this is the third
of
time
you.
she's called us poor.
Do we
Yeah.
know, Aaron, what is the gender of this beast?
Oh,
Because is there a possibility it could be pregnant since it's so big? Because then it's worth more.
It's got veal in it.
20.
let's see.
That'd be an
we'll do-
animal handling, right?
Not to be greedy,
Char-
but we might as well check.
Char wants to check
It
his genitals
is,
before
it
we
is
like it.
female.
I want
It
to
is-
finger the Inix.
Mm.
It is female, but
Is it
no,
boy?
it's not pregnant. No, it's not pregnant.
Crocus, take care of that.
It's just a particularly well-fed specimen. Evidently, Halcyanto takes very good care of its beast of burden.
Is it a breed? But it's not old. It's like a breeding age, right?
No, I mean, it
Yeah,
makes
it's
total
the-
sense, though. You do not want
Good
a sickly Inix with such important cargo to break down somewhere important.
Well,
Like-
then
like
I
City
want
Gate,
to
right?
I
Yeah,
want
it
to
makes
talk.
sense.
I want to talk to the innkeeper more, because if this is young and healthy and in breeding age, breed
Char
them.
wants to run a breeding operation.
Do free range Inixes.
I mean,
she's
in theory,
like she's not interested whatsoever in getting into the breeding game.
No, she
she's
wants
like,
its
that's
meat. But if you wanted to find an Inix breeder, or an Inix seller, he might pay top dollar or top coin. Or whatever.
She says
We already made the offer. I can't do that.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. Let's take the
That's-
12 silver.
that's-
That's a
she's-
lot of money. For
But
us.
and this is kind of this is informative in terms of like, you know, sort of the way things work in the world. She says to you, she says, "Oh no, I would not get into breeding. I leave that to the councilmen in their estates outside the city, where they have space and time and the will to do so. I see many mistakes here. I can definitely make my worth out of this
A
beast.
30-foot long steak.
I mean, she can host banquets. You know, she can do a lot with this in the next few weeks. So,
I mean, yeah, you could do the whole rotisserie thing where she probably only gets steaks from the butcher, right? She doesn't get whole Inix here, so she could do like a whole
yeah,
thing.
I mean, she might, but you know, I mean, you can tell that she's pretty excited about this one. So she probably hasn't seen a specimen this good for a while.
Hey, if we make her
So-
friend, then she won't spill the beans about what we've been up to when we, you know, talk over drinks or hide in the room back there or whatever we need to do. That's fine.
What she's
worth it.
especially excited about is the stomach sack, like all of the bits and pieces of the Inix that she typically can't get a hold of. Which are
Inix tripe.
Yeah, Inix tripe, the eyeballs, the tongue, the stomach, even the organs, the sexual organs, which are all like delicacies. All of that.
The
you know.
sweetmeats.
Yes, the sweetmeats and the brain. Yeah.
If you eat the ovaries of a mammal, is that like roe sacks on fish?
I guess
Is that like
so, yeah.
mammalian caviar?
I mean, it was pretty. They were delicacies in the ancient world for sure. That and testicles.
Their fertility properties or whatever.
Yeah.
But an Inix is technically a lizard, though. So
Yeah,
it has
yeah,
like a gizzard and some other, you know, lizard-like specific organs.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
Whatever.
you know, yeah, it
They're
doesn't.
delicious, I'm sure.
We'll start a dark sun cooking show.
I can see Marc with a little hat and 4 arms doing this. Okay, so
okay.
So back to what we should discuss. And I'm not bringing up my little conversation. So, it seems like securing a patron is something that we should consider doing. But is it possible, whatever a patron is, that we just become whatever that is and not have to be beholden to someone else? How does this work?
I think we would have to probably have more treasure than we currently have in order to, acquire land and buildings.
But who is House Ianto's patron? Do they have one, or are they their own patron?
I think Ianto would be its own patron. I would assume as a
Pressure
an established merchant.
pressure butts in and says, "Are you guys in Mind Link, or is this?"
I mean, Marc really needs to like take a rest.
Rest?
But I don't
Okay.
feel like having this whole conversation.
Well,
Common.
We don't
So-
have to talk too much.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We can imagine, right?
Right.
Marc,
Yeah.
Marc, I'll level this up.
He says you know the merchants aren't patrons in and of themselves. Within the cities, Ianto would have a patron here,
Oh,
and they'd most certainly be on the council.
Is there a way you could find out who that person was?
He looks to Laj, and Laj says, "Yeah, sure, I could figure out who that is. I mean, Halcianto, everybody knows him. I don't particularly know off the top of my head who the patron of Halcianto might be."
But is it known what they are, what their, or I guess how would Marc say this? What they are known for? What makes them famous? Are they metal sellers? Are they stone sellers? Are they cloth? They're cloth sellers, yes? Silk? We know that.
The silk and I'm pretty sure. Well, shit. I know I'm for silk, but I couldn't tell you what else they
All right, well,
handle.
Who else sells silk in Tyr? Who is the number? Let's say only House Ianto has the Alcazar silk. Yes.
Well, remember that only the merchants are allowed to actually sell and barter and trade. The councilmen, their wealth comes from land and agriculture. All trade goods are handled by the merchants. So
who else?
Let's see. I think it's House Dell. Hold on. Give me just a second. You guys chat amongst yourself because.
All right. Well, here's what I was thinking. Right. Just in terms of the information we know that other people don't. That's actually probably valuable to people who make money with their information. The silk trade is about to implode. We know this because we destroyed it. Right? Chances are every one of those hundreds of bolts of Alcazar silk that we burned was destined and already claimed by some merchant, some dressmaker, some noble house. Somebody's owed money, or somebody's owed silk who paid money to House Ianto and is not going to get it, and is probably going to be pretty angry, right?
Yes.
If let's say you are a noble woman or whoever wears this silk, let's say you wanted an Alcazar silk but couldn't quite afford it or couldn't quite acquire it, what's the number 2 silk that you would get? Where's the number 2 place you would go? Because that person is about to become insanely rich, especially if we warn him what's about to happen to inventory of silk and Tyr, right? That alone, it seems that we could make our fortune if we leverage that information correctly. I don't know who to tell.
And we could maybe get a sponsor that way.
Exactly. A silk merchant, for instance, or a nobleman who's the number 2 silk trader behind, or who doesn't have Ianto or is Ianto's rival, however this works, right? In Ma'ak's mind, these are all tribes at war with one another, right? To try to get certain resources. So in his mind, he's like, who's at war with? I mean, I've heard of Stel. That's from Uruk, right? So has something to do with, or whatever. Maybe
Lodge says, bumps in. It's like, oh, I remember. It's not House Stel. It's the Datus Consortium. They have a small post, but Ianto is the main trader in silk here. The Datus Consortium, they don't have a lot of influence here, but they, as far as I know, they're headquartered out of Draj, and they have like a small little shop here, but that's it.
So Ianto has no silk competition here.
Not pretty much that. I mean, outside of like elves coming in.
Who makes silk that's not Alcazar silk? What is that from? Worms? Where does that come from?
Oh, I don't know how Alcazar silk is made.
No, non-Alcazar silk. The silk that's not king silk. How is that made?
Oh, I assume it's all the same. I assume it all comes from silkworms.
Silkworms, right?
Doesn't
So
it?
who's
Doesn't it all
that
come from
business?
silkworms?
It does not all come from silkworms. We can attest to that.
Oh, it's Ianto also. I mean, the majority of the trade is in regular silk, but yeah, I mean, definitely the only ones that I know of bringing in king silk anytime lately.
Yeah, I mean, chances are it's actually moleworm silk, since this is Athos. They're sort of a butterfly silk thing that happens actually is what keeps a lot of the agriculture alive. Chances are that's where normal quote unquote silk comes from moleworms. So whoever that guy is, he's about to become very, very rich, right?
I don't know.
Because suddenly his inventory
Listen, like I told you, I know that like if you want just, run of the mill, like knotty silk, the kind that has like the little beads, like that low quality shit, you go to the elven market.
Okay, so it's the elves who are about to become very rich.
I mean,
If
you take
let's
out
say you
Hacienda,
can no longer get Alcazar silk in Tyr or any other city, what would happen?
oh, well, the Templars wouldn't be very happy. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I know it.
they
How are they going to make their
might
tunics?
even look for someone to blame, wouldn't they? wouldn't they? So let's imagine that someone were to share with them information that would say, oh, I don't know, implicate a certain house of defying King Calyx's orders to put all slaves to work on the ziggurat, and thumb their nose at him, including, and then I will share the memory, because we were there, of Chance being plugged into the silkworm net. The chief glazier of King Calyx's structure was kidnapped by House Ianto and put in these silk mines. Are you telling me they would destroy them for that, wouldn't they?
Well,
all we have to do is ask for the right to name which members of House Ianto need to be replaced. And we name ourselves, right?
Are you sharing that? Who are you sharing that?
I'm sharing that with the core group.
Oh, the core
with
group.
Just
okay.
us.
Not
just
Lodge or
no, not that part. Not that part.
Okay.
Well, I think this is a dangerous game you're talking about, because the disruption.
Let me address Can I real quick address our listener who says trade unions? So just a quick little glimpse into the world of Athos. Guilds don't exist in Athos. They're completely outlawed. Everything is controlled by a patronage system. So it's a top-down system. At the top is the Sorcerer King. Below that are the Templars. And technically on a level with the Templars, but really not. I mean, really politically, they're below them, are the senators and the high council members of the different city-states. And then below that are the merchant houses. And the merchant houses below that is then just the rest of the plebeian population of the world. And if you, if you wanted to be a weaponsmith and you wanted to open a shop, you're going to have to grease someone's palm, and that person is then going to become your patron. That patron will then advocate for you to their higher ups and higher up and higher up and higher up. So Athos is a place where slavery is ubiquitous. So it is slavery by degrees, the patronage system. And it's very similar to the way that it worked in ancient Rome. So yeah, unfortunately, no, there are no trade unions in this world. It's part of the oppressive system of power. Okay.
So anyway, sorry, Geza, you were saying, I know this is a dangerous game, but we already went too far when we burned the silk.
Right, but if we name ourselves as the disruptors of their silk trade, then we've basically given them a reason to be mad at us.
Oh, I agree with you. I don't think we should implicate ourselves if we can help it.
I don't know how we implicate them without implicating ourselves. How do we have this information without
it really comes down to what our strategy would be. If we are seeking a patron to protect us, I guess we would be seeking another pack to join. If we seek a powerful pack to join, in theory, we tell their pack leader, and then however they came about the information, they don't share, but they can act on the information because we can prove it. Or we go the direct route, and Templar gate guard, he would be an ideal patron for a merchant family.
Can I ask
he controls all that goes in and out. We could tell him, and if anything, he could use it to destroy his rival who works the night shift, because he's the one who let the slaves slip through in the first place. Right? That kind of idea.
Quick question right now. The aspect of this conversation that's about finding a patron, are you saying that out? I assume you're saying that normally because Ma'ak is trying to conserve his side points.
Yeah, I guess I would. When we talk about patronage, I'd let Vey hear that part because he would actually know. He's a Drachman, or at least he's pretending to be one. So in theory, he knows. He and Lodge together might be able to give us some clues of what kind of patronages we could seek. Not necessarily what
pressure like kind of butts in at this point. He goes,
hey, well, you're kind of a bunch of goody two-shoes, right?
And then he kind of points over towards the door. And then Lodge looks over towards the door, and she goes, oh yeah. Yeah, you goody two-shoe types, right?
Yes.
Imagine that we are.
Need a patron. Need a patron. I need a patron for my patron, because if my patrons don't have a patron, well then it's not going to be a good life for me either.
No, it's not.
No, right over here, right over here. It's the Verdant Revival. Those are your people.
Explain. What is the Verdant
okay, so
Revival?
you look over to where she's pointing, and you see the door to the front has just opened, and two people have walked in. Person who's they obviously together. The person in front just looks like just a person, looks sort of Athasian, not a poor person, but probably kind of a middle class guild type individual, wearing modest clothing, but finely woven. Has some actual bone jewelry. Some nice leather straps, a nice big broad leather band tightly around her waist, a bright red halter around her chest, and then some feathers woven into her braided hair, dark eye makeup that goes all the way across her eyes, and also across her mouth. Signifying not a warrior. You don't see any weapons on her. She has a long a skirt that hangs down. It's beaded with turquoise beads and some red beads and just semi-precious kind of stuff, not really valuable stuff, but pretty. And then behind her is a very austere looking individual, almost nude, completely shaven head to toe. It's hard to really make out anything indicating gender or race outside of the idea that she's either human or maybe
Tilda Swinton.
What's that?
She's Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, actually, Tilda Swinton would be actually a perfect celebrity to use for this individual. And all she's wearing, she has a burlap halter that goes around her top, that is a very cool verdigris green, very soft, cool green. And then she has a simple loincloth that goes around her waist, or around their waist rather, that is indigo blue. Not a deep indigo, but kind of a light indigo blue. And as they come into the room, the woman in the green and blue stands in the doorway the person in the green and blue stands in the doorway with their hands neatly held in front of them. They stand solemnly still with no expression. And the person in front turns back and just says, you can't make out what they're saying, but obviously she's motioning for her to hold on. Makes her way up to the front, and as you watch, goes up to Mila, and Mila looks over, looks back, goes, okay. And then kind of rolls her eyes, turns to one of the barkeeps, who returns a few moments later with a bundle of food, just a huge bundle of food. And you can see it's all skewers and of Inix livers and whatever else they have on the menu for today, bundled up. And she goes back up to the front, hands it off to that person, and that person kind of bows their head forward, big loving smile, before they accept this bundle of food, deeply embraces the woman, handing the food off, whispers something in her ear, goes back to her position, takes the food into her hand, kind of tosses it over their shoulder, and then outside they go. And then the woman, though, stays. And Laj says, yeah, see, that's her advocate. Or I don't know. It could be a guy, could be a girl, could be they, it could be anyone. It's hard to tell with the Verdant revival. They give up all those labels and stuff, but yeah, that's their advocate right there. That's who you want to talk to. Those are good two shoes. They're all in the same kind of thing you're into.
I don't wear shoes, but I would know what the Verdant Passage believes.
Not passage. Sorry, did I say passage? Verdant
What did you
revival.
just call them? I'm sorry. They're called
Verdant
the what?
revival. Verdant revival.
Sorry. What is it that the Verdant Revival believes?
Oh, I don't really know exactly what they believe, but they're always like collecting food for the poor. I guarantee you that big old bundle of food that she just gave to them, they're going to take it and start distributing it out to
feed those hungry people at the front gate? The ones the Templars were beating to death? That is what they do?
Probably that's what they do. They're a bunch of rubes. No offense. Like, listen, like, I know you like that kind of thing too, and I mean, like, I'm just gonna get taken. Anyway, the point is, like, they like helping. They like helping the downtrodden, the poor, the homeless, all those people. They help them. They don't. They're always preaching about like restoring some, I don't know, long lost time of plenty or something. I don't know.
The Green Age?
I mean, I don't, maybe the green,
That is what my people call it.
Well, and maybe it's the Green Age that they talk about. I don't know. I've never heard anything specific. It's always just like about like, times of plenty are going to return. The dragon's going to die. Last year there was a whole kerfuffle when they showed up and were nearly wiped out because they were also talking about overthrowing Sorcerer King and shit, and the Templar didn't like that at all, and so like a bunch of them disappeared overnight. And then after that, they stopped talking about the Sorcerer King, and but they still talk about like, you know, there's gonna be a day in the future where there's not gonna be any dragon anymore, and like yeah, sure, right, okay, but you know, all this malarkey. But you know, eventually, I don't know. They go around, they collect food and water, and they distribute it to people who don't have it. So I guess they're doing some good stuff. But I don't know. I think they're a bunch of rubes.
Do they have a base of operations that you're aware of?
Shit, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to them too much. You might ask Mila. Like, they're always coming in here.
Like the woman who's still there.
Food. Yeah, go ask her. Like,
I mean, it's hard to tell, but
like I said, she's one of their advocates. Like, this is the reason why I think that actually, no, I don't think that they're rubes. I think that they're getting one over on the population. Actually, I think they've actually got kind of a brilliant thing going on, because she's actually probably the rube. See, she's one of their advocates. You know what the advocates do? The advocates are the people who like buy everything for them. The ones who like feed them, because the Verdant Revival, there's a bunch of monks. They're not allowed to like own anything. Like, here's the thing. This is how crazy it is. I have seen them, I shit you not, in the middle of Odeum Square. Two of them will walk up, you know, like meet each other, like, oh hey, like, oh hey, like old friends, like, hey buddy. And what do? They do that whole thing where they hug each other. And then they take their clothes off and they switch them right in the middle of the road. Just take their clothes off, naked as the day they were born, and then switch them. Why? Because I guess they're not allowed to own property. And so like it's some kind of like sign that like they don't even own the clothes in the back, you know, kind of thing. So like, anyway. But yeah, they get rubes like her to be their advocates, and then they buy everything for them. They're the ones who buy the food and feed them as well, and make sure they have a place to stay. And I don't know.
So they don't have a base of operations. There's not a building you can go to.
I mean, not that I know of. I haven't ever heard of some specific place. But
And
like I
one-
said, you talk to her.
The one that left was the advocate, or the one that stayed as the advocate?
The one that stayed is the advocate.
Okay. Laj, you're worth the money I'm handing you now. Here's the 4 coins that I was going to pay you, or the 4 ceramic I was going to pay you to help us find the Veiled Alliance. Here's the 4 coins I was going to pay you as an apology for Maak trying to correct my mistake. And
Sorry, not sorry.
and I will happily give you more coin if you can help me locate a bag of holding as well. If you know where I can, if you know where I can find such a thing, I will happily go to that place, and we can save ourselves some time on that.
Okay, so a bag of holding? What is that?
It's a magical bag that can hold more than it looks like it can.
I mean, I've heard of things called smugglers' bags. Is that what you're talking about?
Sounds like.
I've always wanted to get my hands on a smuggler's bag, but I ain't never seen nothing. I mean, even in the Elven market, I ain't never been able to get a hold of a smuggler's bag. And I don't think you have the gold necessary to buy one yet.
Oh.
You guys sell a lot more than what you got on that wagon over there.
I'd be happy to pay for it if it was affordable, but even if it's not, I just need you to find me one.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out, but I mean, like...
If you think someone might have one, if you see something, say something.
I just feel like, I won't be honest with you. If I find a bag of holding, I kind of think I'd like to keep it for myself. But if your price is right, I mean, there's always a price to be paid. So yeah, I'll see. I'll listen out for what I can. Now, having said that, fellas, like, are we square?
We're square, Lash.
Okay, so like, can I go off and do my snooping around trying to find this fellow whose name I don't remember?
Yes. Yes, you can. And you know where to find us. We're here for the indefinite future.
Okay. Pressure says,
What about me?
I think we need to hear everything you can tell us about the activities of Lioness and Zomort.
okay, well, let's get to that in a
Which
second.
may be
but,
another conversation for another day.
maybe another conversation,
Yeah.
but for right now, he kind of sits back and he says,
If you're buying the broy, I'll sit here as long as you need me to.
Maak will put one of those ceramic coins down and slam his fist on it till it breaks into 10 bits and just shove it to him. Drink
Okay.
your fill, but talk.
all right. So, and just so you know, the menu of the Golden Inix tonight is 1 cup of broy for a bit. So Pressure could get really drunk tonight if he wanted to. 2 bits for a cup of Tyrian ale, and I think that was what we were talking about beforehand, Rob.
Oh, okay.
Tyrian ale is the Pharaoh beer.
Cool.
And
it's-
then 5 bits for a cup of Asticles wine, which is the high-end stuff. And then,
And
like I
actually,
said, 5
we
bits.
might
So-
want to take our own quick break and get our drinks
Oh, yeah.
from the bar. Come
Yep.
back.
Yep. So we will be right back in 10 minutes. Okay, we are back. Okay, we're in the Golden Inix. Pressure is hanging out because he gets to drink. Well, at this point, probably 10 cups of broy if he wanted to. But what's your next
a little
move?
more liberal
So
with
you've
his
been
information, but
yeah, you've been tipped off about this organization called the Verdant Revival. One of their advocates is currently in here right now.
Yeah, Geza says, why don't you guys, decompress with pressure, and I'll make introductions over there with the Verdant.
all right.
We will follow
Okay.
Geza as he makes his way over to this advocate. So you head towards this young woman, and you can see that she's ordered her own drink and food and is sitting on the bench on the other side of the taverna, with her small cup of broy and a skewer of Inix livers.
Yeah, so I'll just walk up and say, pardon me, miss. Might I join you briefly?
Certainly. Feel free, friend.
Thank you. My name is Geza
She says-
Akos.
She says, "You are beautiful. May
Oh.
I hug you?"
Absolutely.
Oh,
And I spread my wings.
She embraces you deeply, holds you tightly, brings you forward, and whispers into your ear, "You are loved."
Thank you. I'm sure that you were loved as well. Someone that gives so freely.
I am Maroop. Who are you?
I am Geza. I'm new to town, and I heard that you might be a good person who likes to do good.
Yes. I am trying to follow the path of the Verdant Revival. I am still young in the way, but I'm learning. I slip, and as an advocate, I'm doing my part. Giving up the broy and the meat is still, and she puts her hands together, it's still a vice I must learn to overcome.
So the Verdant Revival are vegans?
They do not partake of the flesh of any creature, and they do not drink of any fermented plants.
The creature I understand, but why not the plants? What's wrong with fermentation in their eyes?
The fermented plant clouds the mind, obscures the direction, allows the ego to take over.
I understand. Well, that's very aspirational. I'm definitely on your side of that fence currently as well. How did you find yourself advocating for the Verdant Revival?
I've seen them in the city for some time now. I've heard their sermons at Odeon Square, here in the circuit. And I've seen what they've done in the Warrens, Shadow Square, Elven Bridge. For the people who have no one to advocate for them. So I chose to advocate for the Verdant Revival. And I still do have the means to do so.
So, without getting too deep into it, I do see a conundrum that you might find yourself in. Because at a certain point, if I'm understanding correctly, if you were to truly become a devotee of the Verdant Revival, you couldn't be their advocate because you would have to forsake all of your possessions. Is that not true?
Yes, it is. And I do not have to become an acolyte. As an advocate, I serve a higher function that allows them to pursue their mission.
And you're their advocate, but you would not be considered their patron.
No, they are my patron.
Oh. Do they have a base of operations, land?
There is the Temple of the Verdant Revival. It is in the Warrens, but I have not seen it yet. I have still yet to prove myself completely.
What would that take?
Just confidence that I do not have ulterior motives.
Yes, I heard they came and caused quite a stir, and then the Sorcerer King struck back at them.
Yes, it was terrible. I wasn't very much aware of it at the time. I've only been an advocate for about a month now. I've been attending their sermons in the street for some time because I became curious, but finally decided to become an advocate once I realized they're unlike anything else in this world. They truly care. They truly care.
I would very much like to be acquainted with them and perhaps seek their patronage as well. I don't know of any other group of any clout in this place that sees the world even remotely similar to myself. And I think that they go beyond me with their intentions.
They accept any who come without reservation. Their only request, as far as I know, is that any profit you make, you give some portion of that they may distribute to those without. Luckily, my parents are of some means, and so I have taken to giving to them much of my allowance, which I then accompany them, and they're completely open. I will bring to them, it's really incredible actually. I'll bring to them a sack of ceramic pieces or silver, and then we'll spend the rest of the afternoon going through the markets, purchasing food, drink, water, which will then go into the Warrens and distribute, or anywhere that there is someone who seems in need.
And who was your parentage, Arup? You said they're of great means?
My father is a councilman. But we don't really see eye to eye lately. He still gives me my allowance because he says no daughter of House Kinnock will be seen destitute on the streets. Kinnock, Kinuk.
Okay. So you used to see eye to eye until you
took up with the
I
verdant
was,
revival.
I was a material individual. I was a material individual before meeting the verdant revival. They've taught me that possessions and wealth and power mean nothing because life is like the sand. It will be blown away by the wind, scattered upon our death, and nothing will be left of it except destruction, greed, pain. The only legacy we can truly leave is one that makes the world better when we are gone. One that uplifts so that that individual can then uplift and uplift and uplift and create a link in a chain that goes on into the future.
And speaking of the future, they talk of the verdant revival is talking about bringing back the Green Age, I assume.
I don't know what the Green Age is. They call it the verdant time.
Close enough.
It's some time in the ancient past they speak of when life was lived at peace and harmony with the land, and forests grew upon the tablelands, and there were bodies of water that flowed like water dripping down the side of a table from a spilled glass, but larger than you can imagine, and going on for miles, traversing all of the tablelands. And you could just walk out and find food anywhere. It grew upon the trees, grew up in the bushes. There was plenty for everyone. And they say that, and I'm not saying that I truly believe this, that this will actually happen. Maybe it's just something aspirational to work towards as people. But they say that there will be a day when the dragon will be dead, and will no longer live in fear of it. And when the dragon dies, then will begin the transformation back to this verdant time.
It's so interesting that there are such opposing odds within the city. This verdant green is here talking about the death of the dragon. Meanwhile, we've already encountered whispers of others celebrating the rise of a dragon. Two sides of the same coin. I'm certainly on the verdant side.
Rise of the dragon?
Yes. Beware these whispers. Is there any dust or anything on the table where we're at, maybe nutshells or anything like that?
Yeah, sure.
In the dust on the table, I will just wipe clean the shape of the tattoo on the man's neck, and I just say keep your eyes peeled for that. Stay away from it.
That verdant revival, yes. Verdant revival.
Oh, whoops.
Huh.
No, friend. That is the sign of the verdant revival. They tattoo, and she shows hers. It's very crude, and she pulls up her leather armband, and she has one right here, but it's very crude. She says, "It's very crude. I did it myself. We're not supposed to. I'm not an acolyte, so I'm not supposed to, but I couldn't help myself. I thought the imagery was so interesting and means so much. They tattoo the dragon upon them because they fear not the dragon.
Perhaps I misunderstood what I heard.
You must have. You must have. The verdant revival stands in the face of the dragon. It refuses to be quelled by it. It refuses to quiver in fear. It refuses to cower before the dragon. That is why they tattoo it upon their necks. Here, on the nape. It's a show of obstinance, of rebellion against it. I don't know who's been speaking to you, but they're wrong. They don't want the return of the dragon.
Well,
They
that is-
appreciate the death of the dragon.
That does put my mind at ease. It would certainly be problematic for those of us still on this side of the ground to bring the dragon anywhere near the city.
No. That is the last thing the verdant revival wants. The dragon is anathema to everything that they hold dear.
It does sound like that's the case.
And forgive me if I seem overly enthusiastic. My life has it's blossomed since I've known them. There's nothing more edifying than helping. Seeing the glint in someone's eye when you hand them their first meal for days or their first drink of water.
I am an exarch. I am no stranger to helping and providing for others.
Oh, well, then they would gladly know you. The monks, there are no exarchs amongst their order. They are all monks, but they have many advocates amongst the exarch class.
This is all very good news. I'm glad to hear it. Arup, how might I find you in the future? Just in Odium Square at their events, or?
My acolyte that I advocate for is named Micah. And,
Pardon me, I've got a chinchilla running like crazy back here. Can you repeat that name?
Micah.
Okay.
And they hold sermons every week. The next one's going to be tomorrow, actually.
Okay. In Odium Square?
In Shadow Square.
In Shadow Square. Okay. What time?
Bach, Shadow Square,
Right.
tomorrow.
I'm not hearing this conversation though, am I?
Oh, right.
But
No, believe me, I wish I had heard what you guys just talked about.
Yeah. They always hold it at high sun.
Oh. Okay. Great. Well, I should get back.
D&D, like, I don't need to be like that subtle. We only have so much time.
Well, I don't mean to impose any more than I have. It was a pleasure to meet you, Arup, and I'm sure I will see you tomorrow in Shadow Square. And you can meet the rest of my friends.
And she asks you once again, may I hug you?
Of course. And she's hugging me, but I'm also doing a insight check and body language on her, like see what I think in general. Just a 13.
13. Okay, well, when she embraces you this time, it seems like this is the bookend. Like you get this sense that this is ritualistic. She says, "You will always be loved," and then she leaves. And you, man, it's hard. It's hard to decide. She's very sincere.
Right.
absolutely, like you get that like 100%. But it's really hard to tell how much of that sincerity comes from drinking a Kool-Aid or like there were many glints of like self-awareness in terms of like, you know, her relationship to these people. So it's just it's iffy. It's hard. You're really on the fence right now.
As we're parting ways, when she says, "You will always be loved," I say, "That is a lovely thing that you do. Thank you, Arup. Thank you for the reminder." And the tattoo that you have, it's no secret. You show people your tattoo, or no?
She said, well, and it's on her because it's on her forearm right
Oh, okay.
underneath a leather bracer. She says, "I do not, because technically I'm not. It's only for the acolytes. But I just loved it so much. I loved the meaning behind it, that we will not be afraid. We will not be cowed by those who oppress us."
It's an important reminder. Certainly. All right. I will see you tomorrow, Arup.
All right. Okay. Back at the table. So while they were having that conversation, was there anything that you guys wanted to do, or did you just want to kind of shoot the shit and?
I've been
have
pounding
some
them.
drink?
Yeah,
I guess
I've been slamming them back as fast as they can give it to me.
Yeah. Ma'ak doesn't actually drink either. He's very much a my body is my temple kind of thing. So alcohol is poison. If he knows that, anyway. He's not a drinker, I guess. He would take water or something like it. And he doesn't need much either. But he is very interested in, you know, discussing strategy or anything else that either Cha'ar has to say, being sort of either a local about like either this patronage thing that we need to figure out, or if there's anything that Pressure Vey starts spilling the beans about now that he's like 3 drinks in or whatever. Either about you know, other merchant houses, House Yanto in particular, weaknesses that we could exploit.
Well, like start this off by asking something specific.
I forget. Well, how I kind of forget how we ended our last conversation. Oh shit! Did we just lose Mark?
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops.
And we also lost our template.
Well, that's to be expected.
I am now Marc Andreyko.
So I'm not going to touch anything because I don't want to adjust on the fly and then have it take 1,000 years. So you're Mark, and nothing matters.
Yeah, nothing matters. Welcome to Technical Difficulties, Fire and Sand.
It wouldn't be an Adventure Hook episode if we didn't have at least one technical difficulty.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. We're back.
Yay!
All right, now I just
and
have to
we're
slot
all in the
everything.
wrong place.
That's fine. It'll just take me a second. I'm about to sneeze.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
No worries, man.
That's fine. Yeah, as our producer Joe gets everything back, gets us back in our proper boxes, we'll continue. So basically, like the conversation ended off last time.
Okay, we're good.
Well, I mean, you were talking about like, oh, those rubes over there would be a good patron for you goody two shoes.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You're right. So that's a good segue. I mean, does Cha'ar know anything about the Verdant Alliance? Has he done anything with them? Or sorry, Verdant
Revival.
Verdant Revival.
Verdant Revival. Verdant Revival. Do you know anything about them, or is that more like
no?
More firewood?
Char would have no knowledge because Char hasn't been to Tyr for over a year. So
this is like a new weird cult that's kind of sprung up or something.
They popped up, like I said. What Laj said was they popped up about a year ago, and that was when they were also spouting off about the fall of the Sorcerer Kings. And then a bunch of their high-ranking members disappeared overnight, and then that just disappeared from their sermons. So, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Now, give me a. This is going to be specifically for Craucus and Geza.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you need to give me just a standard intelligence check.
Actually, I that one
You
I'm
can
okay
do it.
with. Yeah, that one I don't have a -4.
18.
Nice.
9.
9. Okay, so Craucus, certainly not. But give me just a second to pull up my world anvil article about the Verdant Revival, which is available to anyone who likes to go over to our Patreon page, Adventure Hook, and sign up at $5 level. You will get access to our World Anvil page, where you can read lots of these articles. Okay. So, Geza, after talking to her, you fucking remember that there was a group of people preaching about the end of the dragon about a year ago in Nibene. You can't quite connect whether or not those individuals were called the Verdant Revival. You're pretty sure that they wore some pretty similar garments, not exactly like the person that you saw in the doorway, with that green halter top of burlap and the indigo loin. More in the Nibene fashion, which is kind of robes and that shawl that hangs down over the head.
Rama.
Yeah.
It's like a checkerboarded head shawl.
Yeah. Their shawls were not checkerboarded. The color scheme you recall being pretty similar. You can't quite pinpoint exactly what it looks like now because you never really paid any attention. It was always kind of in passing, like, you'd see them walking through the streets, kind of doing kind of sermons to the crowds and stuff. But then you recall sort of overnight they all just disappeared from the city. And sort of what everybody thought was that they had been taken by the Templars of Nibene into the Forbidden City, and were probably interrogated, killed, tortured, never seen again. But like I said, there's something very... Oh, man. That's just my... like my fellow merchant. Oh, I'm not going to say her name because if I say her name, she won't shut up. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, like I said, you're not sure if there is an actual connection, but there's something about the way she was talking and what you recall of that group in Nibene. It's really familiar.
Yeah, it checks too many boxes, especially the death of the dragon thing. That's a crazy fucking idea. So it's probably them or some spin-off of them.
Yeah. So, okay. So having said that, so Mark's back. So what did you want to ask Pressure?
Well, I mean, do you know much about House Yonto?
Okay, so he knows a fair amount. So let me pull up Yonto.
Well, what do you know that we don't? I guess is really.
Well, he says,
What do you know?
All right. Well,
Do
Mark
not
will
know
do his
what
best.
you know.
Mark will basically say he knows that they are essentially the kings of the silk trade, particularly Alcazar silk. They have a fortress just outside of Tyr, but they also have a fortress inside Tyr on Steel Square. What's it? Sorry, the Merchant
Iron
Square, whatever that is.
Square.
Iron Square.
Iron Square.
That place, where Baprasa Iantro's cousin dwells, and in theory, now the mole gladiator Garo has escaped to there. We assume he has come to Tyr. He may have gone to the Ianto fortress. Either way, he is our sworn enemy, and he must be slain. Or he will slay us if he finds out we are here.
Well, it's not a fortress on Iron Square. It's an outpost. It's their shop here in town. And it's run, yes, you're right, by the daughter of the patriarch Strabo. Her name is
Right. Yes, those names sound familiar.
Her name is Kame.
Kahme. Kame.
Yeah. All right. And then there was another name, Aaron, that was mentioned at one point. He was described as a particularly cruel person, and Bap was pretty convinced that he was the one responsible for rounding up slaves and non-slaves alike. Guy's name. I'm sure technically Mark remembers because he remembers everything, but Rob doesn't remember. So,
well, okay. So there was Garo, who was their character.
Garo's not family though. He works for the family, but he's a mole. Right?
Well,
No,
okay.
We're
So
talking about.
He says,
I'm not sure about any plot like this. I haven't heard whispers of it, but perhaps it's Kame's brother, Demezo.
Yes, I think that's right. What's that person's name?
Demezo. Damezo.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Demezo Ianto is the one that we can blame everything on if we want to. He's the one thumbing his nose at the Templars. He's the one who is capturing slaves and free folk alike. And he is smuggling them out of the city, likely under the nose of another Templar, either an incompetent one or one he's bribed. Either way, we can destroy that person too, or find his enemy and sell him that information.
If you can find conclusive evidence to this, I guarantee you, at least you can take Demezo out of the picture. The Templar are under strict orders to allow no slaves out of the city. All are being conscripted for the ziggurat to finish it, my high son.
Exactly. And then I just to my friends, especially Chance, right? The chief glazier of this project that is now probably falling behind because he's not on it, right?
Bap. Not Chance. Bap.
No, Chance was Calic's chief glazier.
Yeah, Bap wasn't a glazier.
Regnus, Chance.
Oh,
the first dude.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But who put him in the silk mines? Doesn't matter how he got there. They did it. Right.
They didn't know who he was, but they did it.
They know who he was. They stuck him in there. But who was he? The chief. Like he was worth 100 slaves to Calic right now. right?
What we know,
The guy who could have finished his ziggurat and now it's fallen behind and High Sun's 3 weeks away. Yeah, that dude.
yeah, what we know is not what they know.
Well, right, but we
Sure.
exactly. We can leverage that information. Is my point.
Right. They don't know that he escaped of his own volition and
Yeah.
Those details don't matter. Oh,
Yeah.
those details don't matter. What
'Cause we
matters
do
is what
have-
happened.
I think we have on the Ma'ak memory scan.
Is this all being said out loud?
Of us pulling that cord out of the back of his head. Yeah.
Is
I remember
this
that
all
pretty
being said
vividly.
out loud in front of pressure?
I think at this point we're probably in for a penny, in for a pound with this dude.
Yeah.
If he's gonna betray us, it's you know.
Well, pressure says,
Wait, you know, you knew Chance? You knew Reckless?
I will share quite a few memories of Chance. My least favorite ones of him, probably.
what? Okay, so let's be careful here. What images would you like to share with pressure?
All right, I'm gonna take a quick aside here. We're actually doing this without Desi's, say so or guidance. This is actually her contact. I don't want to give this guy anything more than he needs to, but
Good.
I do think he can help us. So, do you want me? I'm Geza, Kraukus, Char.
Well,
what do you guys think?
I'm thinking about this in the sense that the last time you gave away clear, concrete information, you tried to kill the person that.
Oh
received
yeah. That's why I'm being cautious. No, you're right. No, you're totally right. But at this point, it seems like this guy has declared the reason that I tried to kill the halfling is the way you role played her. She was like, "Oh yeah, anyone else you want to tell me about?" I figured she was going to walk out the door and like
sell us
screw
out.
us. That's
Yeah.
the way you played her. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason. Now this point, pressure wouldn't sell us out because now he's fucked. He's already fucked because one, he's failed to kill Desi, and two, he's thrown in with us. He's been seen drinking with us at the Golden Inix, right? Like it's too late for him. He's in the clutch, right? So like, in for a penny, we won't have that term. In for a copper bit, in for a silver piece. Whatever.
Metagame, as far as the only qualm I would have is we don't know what pressure thinks of Chance. I would love to hear what pressure thinks of Chance before we color that.
All right, I think that's fair. I mean, what I'll say to pressure, because I already kind of slipped up on this, I'll say yes, we have it on good authority. That's not even the way Marc would say it. So, yes, I knew Chance. I saw him as the prisoner of Halcyanto's silk industry.
Chance wasn't associated with Halcyanto. He was the High Glacier. How did he fall in with Halcyanto?
He was enslaved by them and turned into producing Alcazar silk. He was
So you're saying
forced
that-
to do so, we'll say.
So you're saying that...
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
So you're saying that Halcyanto was behind the raid on Fort Iron?
I guess they must have been. Actually, no, that's not true. Or is it? We can't corroborate that. We don't know that for sure. Chance fell.
As far as you,
Yeah,
know, it was
Marc
the
wouldn't
elves.
lie. He wouldn't lie. I don't actually know.
Yeah, but
We
I will
actually
say,
think it
as far as
Yeah, right.
any of you know, and especially Geza and Kraukus, as far as you know, it was the elves of the Juradai, who
Right.
were
Marc actually
doing the
hates
raid.
too, so he wouldn't mind
Yeah.
incriminating them.
But
We have reason to
but
believe
from
that
the
it was
information you
elves.
gave, yeah, the
But
information
there's
you
nothing
gave,
to say that Halcyanto didn't put them up to it. We can't prove
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Well, if this is true, if you can prove that not only Chance was taken and enslaved by Ianto, but they were behind the raid on Fort Iron, well, they're done.
Yes, but how do we arrange for Desi to step into Kame and Denzo's position? How do we make this seamless so that Tyr does not suffer for what we do?
Okay, so because I don't want to keep doing fucking voice.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We can imagine the raspy voice, totally.
Yeah, just imagine that this is a raspy voice. Okay, so ask that question again.
What do we do to make sure that Desi can seamlessly step into the shoes of Denzo and Kame Ianto? How do we keep from disrupting this already disrupted stability of Tyr? We don't want to make more enemies. We want to destroy the ones we have.
Well, I'm not sure. What?
Are there any Templars that would want House Ianto removed? Or other merchant families, senators, whatever these people were. Actually, and we didn't overhear Geza's conversation, but maybe that dude's dad, someone like that.
At some point, Geza will be walking back over. So
Sure.
Give me just a second. Let me pull up my Dune Trader cheat sheet. Come on.
And if you guys have ideas, please. I'm just, these are the things that have happened to us, and I feel like let's discuss our options, especially because sooner or later somebody's gonna find out that a half giant, a Thrycreen, and whoever the rest, an Arakocra walked into a bar, right? And House Ianto is gonna go, or Garrow is gonna go, those motherfuckers, and come for us. So we've got to come for him first,
Craucus has all the plans. He's about to unleash.
We could go and smash him.
Craucus is getting ripped right now.
So
I hope Laj wrote on her character sheet that she received 8 ceramic from me.
yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so pressure does say, well, all enemies of Tyr. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. All merchants based in Tyr are enemies of merchants in Uruk. Chief amongst them, House Stell.
Mm-hmm.
House Stell has been trying to poison the well here for years.
Well, didn't Leonis steal you away from House Stell?
Yes and no. I was always a free agent before.
All right. Well,
But most of my work did come from Stell.
I thought that was the point of Leonis's scheme, was by removing you, it weakened them, and they could snatch up the
because
Agafari
the-
trade from the northern passages. Maybe these are just my memories. I only reviewed them recently.
I have always worked for many. Stell was chief amongst them.
Okay. Now
They
that
were
makes sense.
My best employer, my most consistent.
Would they
And
wish you
I
harm
will say I
if you
was-
were to go to them again? Would they? Do
course.
they wish you harm now? Do they feel
Of
like you
course.
betrayed them?
Of course.
Would there be some offering you could bring them to make peace? Something like House Ianto's betrayals,
Well,
or
if I could give them the Alcazar silk trade, then that would be worth every slight I've ever done.
well, one, if anyone is going to get the silk trade, it's going to be Desi. But I think that we are all in agreement that that was an anathema that needed to be stopped, and that we would put a stop to it again were we to find out more of it was taking place. those Yanti should be killed to a person and their trade obliterated from the face of Athos. That
What are you
was the most
talking
disgusting
about?
thing I have seen in my short life.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Never mind. The silk trade is vile, and we will not perpetuate it.
Well, if the silk trade is off the table, then iron.
Isn't
Iron
that
is what
Stell's
Uru
interest in Tyr to
Of
get
course.
the iron?
Of course, and Ianto has been making inroads in the iron trade.
Well, does this then explain the connection with Zomart and why he might be coming here? Our understanding was always that Zomart was obsessed with learning the secret of Docile, the sacred crystal of my people.
So Mort is interested in more than just the secret of Docile. There are hints of some ancient. Listen, what I'm going to tell you is far-fetched at best, and I think it's a fool's dream.
Try me.
There is a belief amongst some, and Zomort is one of them, that there is some ancient process that exists by which Docile can be combined with iron to create a material unlike any the world has seen since before the Sorcerer Kings.
An amber crystal?
I don't know what it's called. That's all I've heard.
Thank you, Pressure Bay. Thank you for your information. I need to meditate on this. And at that point, I think Mock's gonna. Actually, he needs to recuperate his psi points anyway. So I'm gonna kind of back out of that one. Jesus.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta think about that. What I'm gonna do about that. All right.
So,
All right.
what did Geza come back to? What is this mess?
They're deep in conversation about Docile and iron and shit, and Halcyanto and some way to like get rid of them, and maybe iron is the way in now. Maybe it's through iron that they can find the vulnerability in Ianto. I mean, you've taken out, as far as you know, you've taken out Silk and Alcazar Silk.
And that's,
at
I mean,
least
that's
temporarily.
huge, right? Well, yeah, at least temporarily. They hinted they had other facilities too, so it may not be forever. But we've definitely interrupted this quarter, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You've learned the name of the cousin that evidently Bap, whether or not it was Bap or Shazar, who was betrothed to the cousin. I mean, either way, it was Bap in the eyes of Ianto.
Right.
And but yeah, Demezzo is kind of seems like to be the one who's might be the real target.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, guys. So, I mean, I don't know what else you want to talk to Pressure about. If you do, I mean, Char, you've been pretty quiet. I don't know what you want out of any of this. So,
I am just following you guys. I have very little knowledge to add to this, so I am observing.
are you? I mean, Ma'ak considers you a clutchmate, but I don't know if you consider yourself a clutchmate. So, in this case, do you feel one way or another that because of your involvements with the Yanti, that whether you like it or not, House Yanto is your enemy as well? Do you agree that you think we need to go after them first, or is there some other advice that you have for us?
Oh, I think we should go after them first. I think we should strike them unexpectedly. I think that's our only chance.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless we
too.
suddenly have clones of ourselves. I don't think we can't go there and say challenge them with a white glove.
I wish I were a more potent telepath. There would be other options in that regard, but no, I think direct violence. I think we need to hunt them. I think we are being hunted, whether we know it or not, and we need to go on the offensive.
But I think we need to target our hunting. We need to go after the people in control, because so many others in Halcyanto are innocents who have been enslaved. I think if we take out one or two really high-powered people, we can get the slaves and the downtrodden and the abused to rise up with us. That's
I
what
am
we
100% in agreement with you, Char.
I'm all about the Spartacus of this all. We can't be arrogant and go in like we're going to fight like with the rules of the Marquis of Kingsbury. We have to be smart and sneaky about this.
Pressure tells you.
Well, if you're going to go after Demezo, which I would suggest, you can't go after him when he is in the fortress of Halcyanto. You'll die before you can even climb the wall, before you can even get within sight. It's a fortress out there. Not only that, you have to traverse 20 miles of open desert to get there. If you're going to go after Demezo, you have, and I know that you've been through the desert, but it is an open plain between here and the fortress. They'll see you coming.
Are there any abandoned silkworm tunnels leading up to this fortress that we could maybe sneak in, do the whole sort of like Vietnam tunnel rat thing, so we're not, and then pop up when someone's out in the plain?
I doubt they reach that far.
Yeah, I probably because Halcyanto is probably nowhere near those actual facilities. That being said, one, you would be surprised to know how many fortresses I've actually successfully assailed. But again, I agree. I don't think attacking them in their hive is the best approach.
I think we can attack them in their hive after we take out one or two power players to really shake their confidence.
I agree. I think Garrow needs to die. I think he already knows too much. And I think that Demezo sounds like no one we want to do business with. He sounds like he needs to go. He's the one rounding up free people and enslaving them, right? Like, no, that guy. I think those two, and then I don't know about this cousin or not. I mean, sadly, Baprosa Ianto is actually dead. We never knew him. We only knew Shazar, the doppelganger who was impersonating him. So who that person actually even was, we have no idea. We only know his caricature. So the question is, do we even care about this cousin? And if we do we use her somehow to remove these other ones, or do we just cut off the head and put Desi in its place? If anything, wouldn't it not disrupt the rest if suddenly, like, it's just a matter of I guess I don't know. Ma'ak wouldn't know. But it seems it's more a matter of clutch leader or pack leader changing, right? Second and clutch takes on first and clutch, and then it's fine, right? You have a new clutch leader. Just, can we make a new clutch leader for Halcyanto?
Yeah, well, so what I was trying to find, and I'll have to look it up, and I'll get back to you with the name, as we do so often here, because there's so much shit. There's a specific.
There's the bathhouse that Demezo enjoys frequenting.
You mean pools of water in one place?
Actual water, not like the shining sands across the street where Desi went, where they scrub you with white sands. An actual bathhouse.
After my victories, I would go to a bathhouse.
I would too, but a different kind.
What kind did you go to? Did
We'll
they not?
talk later.
Did they not
Yeah.
scrub you there?
I do not
Have a couple
like
more
water.
drinks, Crocus, and I'll show you.
I would love to go to a bathhouse.
I down my gallon.
Is this?
Nice. Yeah, Mark would not like to go to a bathhouse, but not for
tells
the
you-
reason he's thinking.
Yeah, it tells you the name of the bathhouse, which I'll give to you next time.
Okay.
But
Called
but
Sweat.
he does say like,
This is a high-end bathhouse with underfloor heating.
Suddenly we're on House Hunters.
Right.
Are there clean lines and an open plan?
No, you
Nice.
don't understand. You don't understand. This is a place for the fabulously wealthy. By underfloor heating, I mean there are caverns underneath the bathhouse that are heated by these creatures. I can't remember what they're called, but they're kept down there, enslaved, eating the ground. He would be completely vulnerable if you could make your way in low. He comes in every week.
Well, since I am a fire exarch, why don't we do a Marat, a Jean-Paul Marat, sneak up underneath him and then kill him in the bathtub?
Yeah.
I'm assuming a resistance to fire and the fire powers I have. I can go through those tunnels pretty quickly, probably, because I'm sure they're not really all that big. And if Mock wants to go with me, I
will assist
can-
you. I
because
will
Mock,
tell
you
you
can
now.
Mock, you can maneuver through smaller spaces, even though you're a large being, right?
Yes. With some difficulty, I can likely follow you almost anywhere you need to go. However,
Well,
I
you're
will, I will
taller
warn
than I
you-
am, but I'm probably as wide as you, so it's probably
Mark is definitely very thin. You know,
Yeah.
he's a mantis man. He's sort of proportioned like a mantis.
I propose, and we can start this next time, I guess, maybe, that
Yeah.
I take the lead to the tunnels with Mock with me, and then Geza and Crocus are outside that place. So if we go in and erupt through the floor and they're coming out the doors, bam, taking care of them that way.
And we made quite a few silver coins from the sale of that Inix. While
remember that's
not
in
likely
trade.
expensive.
That's in trade. That's in
Yeah, that was
trade.
trade
Oh,
value.
it was in. Okay, well,
We do
But
have
what
a limited
pressure
amount of
says
silver.
is, but what pressure says, like,
I don't know how to get into those tunnels, but I think I know someone who does. I'll
Well,
leave
if he
it
doesn't, I might, and the innkeeper probably knows people as well.
yeah, no
Any
doubt.
sort of tunnels in this city are going to be multi-purpose.
So,
Yeah.
Crocus, you said you used to enjoy baths after your victories. Perhaps we pool some of our bait, we give it to you, and maybe Geza, you come with us since you're a little more noticeable, shall we say. Maybe pressure goes with you. But maybe you go to enjoy the baths, and you're there, and basically we just have to find you. We stay in Meta Concert. You tell us where DeMezzo is, and we meet you. We come through the tunnels and meet you there. We spring our ambush, and he is dead before he knows he's attacked.
Yeah, if we present that Crocus is there to celebrate his victory of being a gladiator, I'm sure they have day passes for celebrities, and there's a little bit of celebrity there. So we get Crocus in there, keep Geza outside, and you and I go underground, and then it's a 3-point triangulation of sorts of this place. I think that's our best bet. Because there's a couple things we can do. If we can't get access to him to like cut his throat or something, I can heat the water that he's in. I can boil this fucker alive.
And I could hold him under the water.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of stuff.
here's the thing. So we might not actually be able to get to this heist next time, because one thing that you know, Crocus, in order to get entree into these types of bathhouses, these high-end bathhouses,
You
it
need a
typically
patron.
means Well, it typically means doing a exhibition fight for some wealthy person.
Oh, so this is very much like the bathhouse I go to.
All right, well, all right then, Crowcus. We just need to
Pressure set, but here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing, and I'm not going to talk in Pressure's raspy voice anymore because
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And he's been drinking. It's fine.
Yeah, and he's been drinking, so maybe that's lubricated. He's like, he says, listen, fellas, we can set this all up. First, you don't have time to find out where the entrance is, but I know someone who can get us in, but he's going to want payment. I know that you have a stock of goods sitting at the messenger's mount right now that you've got to unload by dawn, or they're going to take every last bit of it. So why don't you go over there and get all that shit and bring it back to your suite that you have now, and leave the wagon. Besides, if you get caught with a wagon that has a false bottom in it, you're dead.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Absolutely. No, we want to distance ourselves
to get rid of that wagon since we got here.
Yeah. And if anything, the only reason that it made sense to hang on to it is if we could point a finger to it, to a Templar, and say, hey, that wagon belongs to House Ianto. Other than that, we don't want anything to do with it.
And we brought it back as good Samaritans after we murdered them.
Mark dropped.
Well, second, I know.
Mark dropped.
No, he's back.
Everybody froze. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
He says, and second, I know exactly the naughty, naughty woman who would want to see that big lug fight in her palace.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I can set it up, and I can get it. If you want this to happen as soon as tomorrow, I can make it happen.
Well,
because
we shouldn't do it.
Looking.
We shouldn't do it tomorrow around high sun, because I've got news from my conversation. We have an appointment at Shadow Square at noon.
What appointment is this?
That woman over there, her name is Arup. She is an advocate for verdant revival, as you guys pointed out to us. And the person she advocates for, Micah, is doing a sermon at noon, or high sun.
And how about tomorrow? Tomorrow afternoon, after this meeting in Shadow Square, I can set up this bout for Crocus.
Perfect.
And if she betrays us, Geza, Arup is on fire.
if we get betrayed by the hippies of Athos, I'm just setting this whole city on fire.
I will say, they are not perhaps what everyone thinks they are, unless we misheard our. Can you?
Oh, I'm sure. I trust you.
Arup seems like you won't need to do anything to her. However, the dragon tattoos, those are the verdant revival. And I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I feel like they were bad.
I remembered them in a very sinister way.
Remember, all that you have from them is a vision of a person sitting in front of a diviner saying, you will turn down the left-hand path of Shadow Square, and there you will meet the individuals who will lead you to that which will change
those who hold that which will reshape all of Athos. That is the quote.
That's pretty vague. That is pretty vague.
All right, but
assumptions from that. So
perhaps we jumped to conclusions. But
perhaps you are the verdant revival.
I mean, I'm sure that we are. I just don't want to be a tool of destruction. A tool of growth, I'm happy with.
All right, we have much growth. We have much destruction to make up for.
Right.
Ak shares the memory of the patch of dead earth that facilitated our escape from the Yanti. That will haunt me for the rest of my days. Likely the rest of you as well. Perhaps in the next life as well.
Arup seems to think that they are good. and she is upending her life, which her life is one of plenty. She comes from House Canuck. Her father is a council member.
Well,
So then the plan, just before we wrap up tonight, the plan for next time is the town square and then the bathhouse?
sounds like it.
That's the plan.
Well, the square and then the
I have to gain
exhibition
access.
fight.
The champion fight.
Yeah,
There's
then
a fight,
Crocus
okay.
has to fight.
Yeah.
If he fights,
Crocus
then he
has to
the
get
VIP
all
pass.
oiled
Well,
up.
this is good actually, because this could give us time to do some reconnaissance on the tunnels around there and all. Mark and I can go scout while you guys are doing your meeting in the town square if you think, unless you think you need us to be there, so we can.
I think I need to be in the town square.
Okay.
Well, keep in
Well,
mind,
then I can go look around.
this-
I know the city, so I can go do that.
keep in mind that this fight that Pressure is setting up for Crocus is going to hopefully reveal the location of those underground tunnels that lead to the bathhouse. So what you could possibly do is just scout the bathhouse itself.
Yeah, I want to scout the area, know escape routes and entrances and all that stuff.
All right. Yeah. No. Great. That sounds great. And of course, we'll update Desi on all of this when we see her next.
She's going to be
Hopefully
rested
Emily
and ready.
will maybe just listen to the episode and be up to date. But
Well, I mean, but she was Desi had to, like I said, she needed to kind of distance herself and be by herself for a bit because of, and it makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense in the sense that, like, I mean, like, this is a woman who has just been like going through endless turmoil for months now, from a life of complete leisure, and where everything was absolutely handed to her. Like there were no cares in the world, and then suddenly it's
she occasionally has to assassinate people, but
yeah, but like that was all
just for
part of
fun though.
That was for fun, yeah. Like not like she never had to, like, other than
no,
probably
I know. Yeah, I know.
here
So she's
and
the
there,
Elle
like,
Woods of our clutch.
yeah. So but what, like, or who knows? Maybe that was just an excuse, and there was something else that she had to attend to. So, having said that, big revelations tonight, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.